guys, we are headed out to the racetrack. It's going to be an exciting weekend. So if you see behind me, I got this whole table full of stuff. So all of that's got to go into the car. I also got this list here that I need to kind of go over. It's mostly just cooler stuff that I have to get packed up still, but we are on our way. So I will check in with you when I get to the trailer because I have to probably, it is already almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it is 45 minutes north of our house. So I also have to stop off at the grocery store and pick up some yogurt because unfortunately I wasn't able to make any this week. So I am going to go to the grocery store and pick that up. And then from there, we should be at the racetrack, and then I will bring you guys back. I am going to be making a mushroom lovers, I don't know, it's just called mushroom lovers. It's just like, you'll see when I make it. So anyways, I am off to the racetrack. Well, actually, I'm not off yet. I still have to get that stuff in the car. So after that stuff's in the car, then I'm off. See you guys later. Hey guys, we are in the trailer now. It is the next day. I unfortunately did not get any time last night to make my mushroom lovers pasta. By the time I got out to the trailer and got everything unloaded from the car and kind of got everything put away, it was super late and I did not have time to make supper. So we actually just went out for Mexican, which I don't like eating out all the time, but that was our option last night. And because we are actually in Bowling Green right now, there are restaurants here, so we definitely had the option of eating out. So we went out last night, but not today. I am just getting my coffee started. While I am waiting for my coffee to brew, I am just cutting up some peppers and some onions. I picked these from my garden. I'm happy to use them in this recipe. I'm just doing just a light chop on them. This pepper's kind of bad in spots. That's okay, I'll just cut around it. I'm just doing a light chop on them. Again, because Stephen does not like onions, I am going to cut these onions into really big chunks so that he can pick them out. And yeah, the recipe needs onions, so they're going in. I'm not putting them in. Okay, so those are all chopped up. I am going to put them aside. Well, I am also getting everything kind of prepped for this. I am going to get my breakfast out because I do have to defrost some of the berries for breakfast when I'm in a trailer, and actually anytime I'm at home also. I eat granola. This is my homemade granola that I made. I'm going to try to make a video on this because this stuff is amazing and it tastes super good, and it's got no sugar in it. It has maple syrup in it, but that's the sweetener in it. I believe I do have a post on my Instagram on how to make this. I also want to apologize if you hear sounds. We are at a racing event, so you will hear drag racing in the background. You will probably hear a lot of burnouts also, and you're probably going to hear some motorcycles going by because people are on their golf carts and little pit bikes. So again, I want to apologize in advance for that. So yeah, I think I do have the recipe posted up on my Instagram on how to make this also, but I will try to get a video out because this stuff is super good. I also use frozen berries. When berries are in season and I can get them fresh, I obviously will use the fresh berries. But right now, because we are now in fall berry season, it's not anymore. So I use frozen berries. So these are what I need to actually get defrosted. So I'll put a little bit in a bowl and defrost them, and then I also mix it with yogurt. I really like this Stonyfield organic probiotic whole milk yogurt. It's pretty good. I am going to try next week to make a batch of yogurt. So I am going to reserve some of this. I'm going to reserve 2 tablespoons of this to make a fresh batch of yogurt with the milk that we actually picked up from that local dairy. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to get supper into the crock pot because it takes approximately 12 hours. Now we will be, it is, I don't even know what time it is now. I think it's maybe 9 o'clock. I don't know. I kind of slept in today. So the recipe I am using is from this book. It is called Fix It and Forget It Recipes for Entertaining. This book is amazing when you are on the road camping with electricity. I need to just specify that. We are what's called glamping. I'm old. I cannot camp in a tent. It hurts my back. So this for us is camping. So electricity is required in order to kind of do this cooking when you are camping or in a trailer. So this book's amazing. If you can see, we've kind of like, I have tabbed recipes that either I think we're going to like or recipes that we do like that we have already tried. So the recipe we are doing today is called Easy Roast Beef Barbecue. It is on page 33 of this book. I've never made this recipe before, so it is going to be an experiment, and you guys are going to come along with me to see how it tastes. I want to let you know also, I will come back and show you guys how it ends up. Just so you can kind of see the finished product, and I will let you know if we like it or not. But in the meantime, let's get it all into this Instapot. I do apologize. The camera angle is going to be kind of off because I am working in a very confined small space, so I don't have very much room and I don't have very good lighting in here. So I have my Instapot. I believe I have an 8-quart Instapot. I am going to use it on its slow cooker feature today. The recipe calls for a 3 to 4 pound beef roast. I am using a beef arm roast. We'd actually purchased this from the local cattleman. He is one of Stephen's friend's sons, and he raises grass beef. He does grain finish. I have not been able to find a grass finish farmer, but I'm fine with it. The beef tastes amazing. So, and he does good practices. Like he's a good farmer and he's local. So definitely like to use his meat. So this is the beef arm roast. It calls for a bottle of barbecue sauce, a 12-ounce bottle. It does not specify what kind of barbecue sauce. I made barbecue sauce a while ago. I do actually need to make more of this. So I'm going to use some of my homemade barbecue sauce. Calls for a 1/2 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of ketchup, 1/2 cup of chopped onions, 1/2 cup of chopped green peppers, and then you're going to serve it on rolls. So yesterday you seen I made those rolls, so I have those in there. So I have my chopped up onions. It just says to combine all the ingredients into the slow cooker and cover and cook on low for 12 hours. So let's get them in that slow cooker. Okay, here is our meat. It does have a bone in it, which is fine. Okay, we've got 1/2 cup of water. For the ketchup, I am just using this stuff. I got it on Azure or Azure. Again, don't know how to say it. I'm going to put in 1/2 cup of ketchup. Hopefully I have enough ketchup. I'm using a little bit more barbecue sauce than 12 ounces, so that should make up for it if I don't have enough ketchup. Perfect. Ketchup in. Enough. I am still going to use the larger amount of barbecue sauce. So in goes the barbecue sauce. This stuff is so good. I can maybe try to do a video also on how to make this stuff. It is absolutely amazing. Just empty it all in there. Now we are going to add our onions and our peppers. that is everything. I am just going to kind of give it a stir. Just kind of get everything incorporated. When I am first making a recipe, I stick to exactly what the recipe calls for. I don't really veer too, well, I guess I did because I added a little bit more barbecue sauce, but I really don't veer too far from it. I don't add extra ingredients. And the reason I do that is because I want to try the recipe in its original format. I want to taste how the recipe is designed to taste. After I've made the recipe one time, I will then go in and modify the heck out of it. I will, like in this situation, I feel it needs salt. It calls for absolutely no salt on the recipe. And I feel it would be lacking a saltiness because the barbecue sauce in this, it's not a salty barbecue sauce. It is a very sweet barbecue sauce. So I am really wanting to add salt to this, but I want to try to do the recipe in its pure form. So the second time I do the recipe, that is when I make my modifications. I add things like garlic powder. I would probably also add to this. Again, salt, pepper. These are things I would add to that because it didn't call to saute the beef. It didn't call the salt and pepper the beef. It just said to put the beef in its just plain form. Nothing. So we'll try it, see what it tastes like. I'm probably actually going to add salt because I really feel like that needs some extra salt to it. So let's get the lid turned on, or lid put on. I want to make sure I have the sealing thing on it right. And when you are using the slow cooker feature on the Instant Pot, you always leave it into the venting position. Because we're not pressure cooking anything, we don't need to have a tight seal on that. So let's get it turned on. Got to plug it in first. That number one thing, plug your Instant Pot in. Then we can cook with it. So we're going to turn on to the slow feature, the slow cook feature, and again it said 12 hours, so we are going to adjust for 12 hours. I am going to keep that keep warm feature on because if I am out watching drifting at 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to be able to come back here and get this to make sure it stays warm. So I am going to leave that on the keep warm feature in case we are out a little bit later tonight watching some stuff. So that is done. And that is all I do. I will come back, get some buns. I brought some beets, some canned beets and some canned carrots. We'll have that as a side and voila, supper is ready for us. This is so easy, guys. It's so easy to do. And like when we are camping, like we actually go camping and we're out hiking all day or enjoying the water, I do the exact same thing. I throw it in the Instant Pot. We can be out all day. I don't have to worry about coming back tired and exhausted and having to cook food. So Instant Pot, it is for the win when it comes to doing this stuff. All right, I will see you guys tonight when we come back and enjoy this meal. We just came back to the trailer to grab some lunch. I am not a fan of the vendor food. I don't eat meat unless I know kind of where it's been sourced from. And I try to really keep things local for the majority of my food. Steve is working. I am on kind of a little bit of a vacation. So I am kind of snacking a little bit. But this is what we came back to make, or I came back to make. It is a deli sandwich. This is Steven's. It's got some Dorito chips. That is what I'm talking about by us having kind of a snack. It's got Dorito chips. That's mine. And then I've got some kombucha, or I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Anyways, we've got some organic deli meat on there. Also some provolone cheese, tomatoes from our garden, and lettuce from our garden. And those are the buns that I made yesterday. So that's kind of how we grab a quick snack when we are doing this. This is one of the reasons I absolutely love having this trailer here for these events, is so that we can come back, eat somewhat healthy while we are working, or while Steven is working these events. Anyways, I will see you guys back later when we come back for the night. Okay, so this is what it looks like I actually took it off with still 45 minutes to go because it is now 9 o'clock and we're hungry. Camera's steaming it. So we're having this barbecue beef on buns with carrots that I just opened a can and heated them up for 1 minute. But yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll see how it tastes. Hopefully it tastes good. See you guys in the morning. Well, we are on day 2 of being in the trailer. And last night was crazy. So I did film a little bit of what it looked like after it had finished cooking. And it actually did not finish cooking. I had taken it out 45 minutes early because it still had 45 minutes to cook. But it looked very much done. When we took it out, we ate it. The meat was really dry. 12 hours, way too much for that recipe. And it actually ended up being pretty liquidy. I wish that it would have actually like solidified a little bit more. Had it not been almost 10 o'clock at night, I would have probably taken that sauce out and thickened it up a little bit with cornstarch. But that is why I say that's an experiment. That was my first time making it. It was a very, very good tasting recipe. I actually did not add any salt to it. I just left it as it was, and it tasted fine. I don't think it needed salt. Steven said he didn't think it needed salt either. So last night I took the chicken out because it was still frozen, and I set it on my stove and went to sleep. And then at 6 o'clock this morning, Steven looks and he goes, "Do you know there's chicken on the counter?" And I said, "What?" So we cannot have what I had planned to make tonight because the chicken is no longer good. I asked him if it felt cold and he said it didn't. So I don't want to play games with that. We still have another day here, and if we eat bad chicken, both of us are going to be out of commission tomorrow from food poisoning. And that is not going to be very fun being in a trailer. So no chicken today. I am going to improvise, and now I'm actually going to make that mushroom lovers pasta recipe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it now before I start to go out and enjoy the festivities of the event. I'm going to make it now, and then I'm going to leave it in the frying pan, and I'm just going to throw it into the fridge, and then when we come back tonight, we'll just reheat it and it'll be fine. It's again better than takeout, better than French fries at the vending. Not that there's anything bad with French fries at the vending machines or the vendors over there. They taste good, but it's just not filling to me, and I usually end up with a sore stomach. So this is what we're going to do today. This recipe is called Mushroom Lovers Pasta. It was originally a vegetarian restaurant or vegetarian recipe. No meat in it. I have tweaked it because, again, I make this quite a bit, so now I'm at the stage where I do the modifications that I find best for my recipes. So I have actually incorporated it to add meat. With this recipe, I either used ground beef or ground pork, like Italian sausage, and it tastes amazing. The other modification I did is substitute the vegetable stock, and I added either chicken or beef stock, depending on what meat I am using with it. I do a modification also with the mushrooms because I am adding meat to it. I take away a pound of mushrooms because this recipe goes for 2 pounds of mushrooms. Remember, this is a mushroom lovers pasta. So what I've done, I have ground up 1 pound of ground beef. I have pre-cooked some linguine noodles. In this recipe, I am using this 100% organic einkorn linguine. You can really use any type of pasta. I have used angel hair pasta. I have used spaghetti. That's actually usually what I use is spaghetti, but I want to just switch it up a bit. So this will be a little bit more hearty of a pasta to use, but that's fine. I have used this before and it tastes perfect. So what we're going to do now, because I have my ground beef all done, is we are going to fry up these mushrooms. We are going to take 1/4 cup of butter, put it into the frying pan. We're gonna wait for that to melt. And I probably should have my glasses on because I know this recipe, but I want to make sure I'm doing it exactly for you guys. Okay, so we are going to melt this butter, and then what we're going to do is we are going to add the mushrooms, and we are going to cook them until they are lightly browned and softened. Once they are lightly browned and softened, we are going to add some garlic to this and cook for 1 more minute. Now the mushrooms are softened and they are definitely secreting, I don't really like that word, but that's what I'm going to use. They are secreting quite a bit of liquid, which is good. We need that liquid. So I'm going to add the garlic. It calls for 6 cloves of garlic. So again, my garlic hack. The minced garlic I get from Costco, I am just going to do like a spoonful of it. We like garlic. So I'm going to stir this in and I'm going to cook it for another minute. It's starting to get hot in this trailer from having this stove on. So I'm going to add the ground beef back to it. This is a cooked ground beef. Cook this up while I was chopping the mushrooms. So I'm adding the ground beef back. Now I am going to add another, this is heavy on butter too, so probably why it's a good recipe. And add the other 1/4 cup of butter to it. Kind of melt that a little bit more. Okay. And to this I am going to add the beef stock. It's 2/3 cup beef stock. Again, you can use vegetable stock. And it also calls for 1 cup of dry white wine. I am using a Pinot Grigio. I don't know what it is. I don't drink wine very often, so, and I definitely don't drink white. So this is what I'm using. I usually use like a Chardonnay in it, but that's good. And then I am going to add 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. So I eyeball it. I love balsamic vinegar. We'll see if that's good. Let's give it a little stir. And then we are going to add 2 to 3 sprigs of rosemary. I picked these from my garden before we left. So this is a pretty big one. Steven is like, he's really not a fan of rosemary. So definitely don't put as much as it calls for. And then it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of crushed red pepper. So I'm just going to do a couple pinches of that in there. Okay, and give it another little stir. And we are going to add a pinch of salt and pepper. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this sauce get to a simmer. Salt everywhere. Because my beef stock, it was homemade beef stock that I was using, because I do not add salt to it when I make it, I really have to salt the dish quite a bit to make up for the lack of salt in the beef stock. And get some pepper. These little mason jars are perfect for the trailer. I just keep them in here. With more balsamic. We are going to bring this to a simmer, and we are going to continue to simmer for 5 minutes. So you want the liquid to be reduced by half. So that's why you're going to simmer for 5 minutes. You just kind of got to keep an eye on it. I don't cover it. I just let it, I take the lid off so that the steam can evaporate and it causes it to reduce quickly. So I will come back in 5 minutes. Right, that is reduced down as much as I would like. Because we are going to be reheating this tonight, I do actually want to leave a little bit more liquid than normal in it. And the only reason is because when you reheat something, it tends to need more liquid added to it. What I'm doing right now is I'm just removing the rosemary. You can leave these in if you would like, but because Stephen does not like rosemary, he doesn't like the sprigs of rosemary. I don't think he minds it if it's just like in here, but he calls it trees. So he does not like the twigs and trees in his food. So what we're going to do now is we are going to add the already cooked pasta back into here. And I am just going to mix it all together so that that pasta just absorbs all that liquid. Now, if you find that it comes out too dry, you can actually add either some reserved pasta water into this, or in my situation, I am going to save some beef broth. And I am just going to add like a little bit more into that, just to make it a little bit more runny, because it's not gonna have that much liquid when we go to reheat. I am actually gonna put this beef broth into the fridge so that when we reheat it tonight, if I need to, I have that as a reserve to add to it. So I am now going to add 2/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. This is just a fine grade Parmesan cheese. I've just kind of switched to using tongs now because it's easier with the noodles in here, just to kind of get it all incorporated. And I am going to hold off on the salt, and if when we reheat it I find that it needs more salt, then we'll just add it then. I don't want to over salt it. And that is it. That is all that is required to make this. So I'm just gonna leave this. I'm gonna turn the heat off because again I'm reheating. So I'm gonna turn the heat off. I'm gonna put the lid on this. I'm gonna wait for it to cool down just a little bit. And then once it's cooled down enough, I will put it into the fridge. I just don't want to put a very, very hot pan into a cold fridge. I don't want to break my shelves. Another little snack thing that I do while we are in these events is I like to make popcorn. I just kind of put it in a bag and I bring it along with us so that I can kind of snack on it throughout the day. I do it kind of the old-fashioned way. I don't know if it's old-fashioned, it's just how I've always done it. I take some oil and I cover the bottom of a saucepan just so that there is, I don't know if you can see how much is in there, just to kind of coat the bottom. And then I take about a handful of popcorn. This is a neat kind of popcorn. It's called a mushroom popcorn, and it pops like really big kernels. I got it from Azure. So I just want to cover the bottom of the pan just to get these completely coated, and I am going to turn the burner on and I am going to cover it. And every once in a while I will come and I will give it a little shake. You have to kind of shake this continuously. It's a bunch of shaking. I have it on about a high heat. Let me turn it down just a little bit. I can hear the oil starting to sizzle in there. Oh, we're starting to get pops. So I'm going to really keep shaking this a lot. while also trying not to light my trailer on fire. Okay, I am going to take it off the heat now because it is really popping. And kind of keep shaking it. And wait until it's done popping. Don't really hear any more popping, so I'm going to open it up. And voila, popcorn. So I just take it, throw it in a bowl. Woo! Wasn't done popping. Put it in a bowl, add some salt and butter to it, and there's my snack. Perfect for the trailer. I am going to get this popcorn put into a bag, get that in the fridge, and then I am going to go out and enjoy some drifting, burnouts, and drag racing. These are our favorite things to do. It helps that Steven works in this industry, but we get to do this quite a bit, and this is my other thing I enjoy other than doing my homesteading and baking and canning. So anyways, I will come back and see you guys tonight. Hopefully not too late. Well, we are home now, and yeah, I did not get a chance to film any of that meal. We came back to the trailer, I think at 8 o'clock. We quickly threw some of that food into a bowl, microwaved it, and we went right back out to the track. There was a really big burnout contest going on and we didn't want to miss it. And I unfortunately did not get the opportunity to even turn the camera on. So I am so sorry, guys. It was a very busy but fun weekend. So we are back home, and now I have a lot of laundry to do, and I kind of have to catch up on the stuff around the house and get that all taken care of before we start another week. I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye guys, see you on the next video.